How to use the law of attraction correctly. You know, when the Secret came out a while back, it was actually very popular. The Secret basically taught the law of attraction. And it was marketed really well because they made a nice movie, they made it, there was a book. And for the people that really got into it, it did start working for them. I'm not sure if you are familiar with it, but when you first hear about the law of attraction, the idea that if you focus on the things you want, you get more of the things you want. And if you are feeling good about the things you want, if you're feeling good, just in general, you will attract more things that make you feel good. So you're kind of in a good vicious cycle rather than a bad vicious cycle. When you have negative thoughts, then you attract negative situations. So if you're familiar with the law of attraction, that's basically what it is. You focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, and you get more of what you want. And that technically works. If you have a negative vibration, you do tend to attract the wrong people, the wrong situations. And if you are feeling good, usually you'll attract the right situations. And that's overall true. Now, there's a reason why the law of attraction stops working for people. Now it's not as popular as it maybe was in 2006 or something like that. But this video is basically going to tell you why the law of attraction has stopped working for you. So if you used it and you've gotten some success in your life and now you're back to square one, you're back to how you were before you've learned about it, this video is for you. So I want to teach you the real way to use it. I'm not saying it's wrong. It definitely works. You can try it on, for yourself. You can watch The Secret, follow all the steps, everything they tell you to do, and it will work for you. But unfortunately, it won't work for you forever. You will go back to the way you were, maybe even worse, because you get discouraged. You're like, oh, if the law of attraction doesn't even work for me, how else am I supposed to get what I want? And then you completely give up. So let me just get right into it then. There's a lot more work besides learning how to have positive thoughts or learning how to visualize or learning how to do a vision board. Yeah, of course, if you put a vision board on your, let's say, your screensaver of something particular, there's no doubt eventually either you'll see it or you'll get closer to getting it. There is this kind of magnetic law that works where if your mind focuses on something particular, bad or good, it will kind of send out a signal. So like I said before, your emotions constantly are sending out a signal. So it's not as much as you have to monitor your thoughts, it's more of your emotions. So you can think whatever you want as long as you're feeling good, which is easier said than done. Most people can't get themselves to feel good all the time, and that's why they can't get the circumstances they want all the time. It's like 50-50. Sometimes they get what they want, sometimes they don't. And that's because that's how our emotions work. It's hard to feel good all the time. But the way to get the law of attraction to actually work long term is to actually restore your own spirit back to the way it was when you were a child. And the only way to do that is to actually expel, release, get rid of, whatever you want to call it, childhood trauma. Everybody has it. It doesn't matter how good your parents were, where you were. Everybody has childhood trauma. The first time somebody told you you did something wrong, the first time somebody criticized you, the first time, when you're a child, this is all very intense. It doesn't matter how it happens. Some people have less, some people have more, of course. Some people have so little that they almost don't feel it and they can go their whole lives without any therapy or anything like that. Sure, I mean, they'd be even better if they did do therapy, but the point is, you can use the law of attraction. But before you really get into the law of attraction, I suggest you do this first. I suggest you figure out what it is that's stopping you from feeling as good as a child. You can pretend to feel good, but you could also feel good in the most authentic way, which is the way a child feels. They're not trying to get themselves, oh, I better feel good today or else I'm going to drink today. A child's not going to, it doesn't think that way. A child doesn't need to drink just to get through the day. A child just feels good without even, trying. It's like on autopilot. So I want to teach you how to feel good on autopilot so that you can use the law of attraction easily. Wouldn't it be nice to just use the law of attraction on autopilot? So this is what I want to teach you. You have to do a little bit of hard work first, hard, internal work. and then you can start using it. So this is what I recommend. If you can't get a hold of psilocybin or any psychedelic mushrooms or anything that will help you release trauma, because the whole point of releasing trauma is like when you go to a therapist, the therapist makes you cry eventually. I mean, if they really get you into your childhood, really get you to relax and like ask you like what happened at this age, what happened at that age, they're basically trying to get you to let it go. And then a lot of people start crying with the therapist, and that's usually the best part because they're releasing the trauma. Now, why would you want to spend money on an expensive therapist and do this for 30 years? I mean, it'll work, but it's just slow. So there are two ways. There's an easy way, which is to get your hands on psilocybin, and obviously be careful. It is illegal. I'm not condoning the use of it. I'm just saying it worked for me. But something that's equally effective is breath work. So what's interesting is if you simply breathe. Now this has been popularized by Wim Hof. He's an Icelandic teacher that teaches how to do breath work. I also heard it from Leo Gura. You can look up actualized.org on YouTube, and you can look up the video Shamanic Breathing. Now what this is you're basically laying on your back, and for about half an hour, or if you can get to an hour, it's even better. You lay on your back, and what you do is, this is not as easy as it sounds. You hyperventilate, but you do it in a continuous way. You can play some music or something while this is happening. You're basically doing this. You're inhaling deep, like, so all the way in, all the way out. Not too fast, not too slow, like a rate that you're comfortable with. And you do this over and over again. Eventually your lungs get so much oxygen that your hands actually start to get tingly, and your hands can actually seize up a little bit. So you have to kind of keep them up high, kind of just lay down. You don't want to be standing up or anything. You could like pass out or something. So you're basically getting as much oxygen into your lungs as possible. You just do this over and over again, like, and you won't feel anything at first. But you set a timer. Once you get to like the 10-minute mark, things will start to happen. All this oxygen, it's just going to start to make you feel very tingly. It's going to start to make you feel warm. Some people can go out in the snow after doing this because they do the breath work to get their bodies to do this. So that's how you see those crazy people with their shirts off in the snow. So some of them know how to get their physiology to be comfortable with the cold. But anyways, the point is, you do the breath work, and what happens is if you do this enough times, it sort of opens up your subconscious a bit. So you automatically might start feeling certain emotions, some repressed emotions from your childhood that you haven't thought about in years. You'll be like, oh, wait a minute, like, why did that person yell at me? Why did this happen? Like, that was terrible. And then you could start crying. And if that happens, this is the key. Don't be afraid. You have to purify yourself. If you want to cry, just cry. Just let it out, and you'll be surprised. You could be crying for 3 hours. That's way more than you will with a therapist. So just let it out, and it'll calm you down eventually. And then you do this again and again and again. And if you release enough trauma, using the law of attraction will be much easier, because you're not going to be waking up every day trying to figure out, okay, how do I be positive? How do I be positive? You have to do the work. Meditation also will teach you how to keep your emotions and thoughts you'll be able to slow them down where it won't be difficult to control your emotions. People who meditate often, they are kind of connected with their emotions and their thoughts. So feeling calm and feeling this certain confidence that, yeah, I'll definitely get this thing. I'll definitely get what I want. It's the doubt that's when you're starting a business and you're not seeing any profits for like 5 years. That's usually because you have a lot of doubt, like throughout the process. If you remove the doubt and you just have absolute faith, like, yeah, of course this is going to work, then the law of attraction is going to work better. So you have to do the inner work first before you can use the law of attraction, and then it will start working. So then you can visualize, Especially when you do visualizations for something. Let's say you want to move into a nice apartment, something realistic, but something that will make you really happy, something that you need in life. It's hard enough trying to find connections, trying to find people to get you to your dream. That's hard enough. But your emotions are like this magic wand that you can use to get there faster. So how do you maintain a positive emotion even while you're doing something stressful like opening a business? You could do visualization. So when you visualize, you close your eyes and you don't just visualize like one little static picture. Make it three-dimensional. Imagine yourself walking through this apartment or this house that you want, or this car. Like imagine you're walking inside of it, you're sitting inside of it, or you're walking through the rooms. Imagine you're touching things, you're feeling the materials of the furniture, of the walls. Imagine the smells. Imagine that feeling of like, I have it now. This when you're needy, it's like tension. But when you have it, it's like, I have it. I don't need it because I have it. So that's how you have to feel in order to attract what you want. You have to pretend that you have it now. But how do you do that if you don't? That's the real trick. The real trick to getting what you want is to feel as if you don't want it. The second you don't want it, that's when it comes. It's just the way the universe works. If you want it way too bad, you'll never get it, because this needy energy attracts your same needy self. So if you're needy and you're like, I need this so bad, all you're going to attract is a person that's needy. You get it? But if you attract a person that doesn't need the house, that already knows they have it, if you already know you have it, you're going to attract somebody that already has it, and then you will get it. So it's very counterintuitive, very confusing at first. And especially after you do breath work, especially if you just do therapy. If you don't like the breath work, do therapy, cry it out. And if that doesn't work, then if you get your hands on psilocybin in very micro doses, don't overdo it because you will hallucinate. It's administered in hospitals. It helps people with post-traumatic stress. Psilocybin has been proven to help with depression. There's tons of articles on psychedelics and how helpful they are. I mean, this is not a secret anymore. This is old news at this point. But I'm just giving you that as an option because you deserve to know all your options. But obviously, be careful. I don't condone using drugs because you should do all the other methods first. Why do it when you can actually get high just off of oxygen? If you hyperventilate long enough, you will get high. So don't rely on drugs. That's my advice. And ultimately, the law of attraction works. So why? And even if you don't believe in it, why the hell would you rather go about getting what you want in a pessimistic way anyways? Wouldn't you rather just be kind of inspired and passionate and positive, but not forced positive. You want to be positive because you know that practically you can get there. But if you have doubt, then that practicality gets broken apart. You have obstacles. So you're like, okay, I can definitely open this business. I have the money, I have this and that, I have the clients, but you still won't make the profit if you have that doubt. Like, what if I lose it? What if something happens? So you want to get rid of the doubt. There's so many different ways to visualize. If you're not really a good visualizer, you can just do what they recommend in The Secret. You could every morning when you wake up, what do you see? Usually your ceiling. Like you open your eyes and you see your ceiling. You're kind of staring at it, all bummed out, like, oh, my life again. That feeling. Just put something there. Maybe a check of how much money you want to receive. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a picture of something that you want. If you see it every morning, your subconscious is eventually going to get used to seeing it. And lo and behold, one day you will see it in real life. Thoughts really are things, as Mike Dooley famously put it. So there you go. The law of attraction works. Do exactly what The Secret says, but first do the inner work. Do the emotional work first, and it will be much easier. And it will be much easier to attract whatever you want in life. Because when you put energy into yourself and you work on yourself, the universe gives you that energy back. So that's a form of self-love. And you won't be successful until you love yourself. I'll leave you with that.